You're watching Houston Texans Today by Chat Sports. I'm Harrison Graham with today's video. And CBS Sports released an article naming a player on all 32 NFL teams that could be cut. So I wanted to talk about the player for the Texans that they mentioned, and that is one Bradley Roby, as he enters this season with a 6-game suspension to start the year, by the way. So if that's not motivation enough for a team that could struggle this year, then, hey, I don't know what would be. Now, Roby's certainly a good player. He's got value. He's still I would say, a number 2 CB type of guy, but hasn't played as well in recent years, and you can save a lot of money by releasing Bradley Roby, which if you're the Houston Texans and you're being objective, you may not be ready to win at a high level this season with all the Deshaun Watson drama. Now, if you cut Roby, his dead cap hit is literally only $1 million. That is not that much money for a guy, for any player, much less a player that's actually good in Bradley Roby. You could save $8-9 million by releasing him before week 1 of the NFL season. Now, last year in 10 games, he was fine, had 33 solo tackles, 7 PBUs, had an interception as well. At his peak, he's been a pretty good cornerback in the NFL, but I think he's a little past his prime at this point. And again, if you're Houston, you're like, okay, what's more valuable? Having $8 or $9 million that you can carry over in cap space next year when maybe there's more clarity on this team's future, or having Bradley Roby play for the team this year? I think that's a fair question to ask. So I'm going to ask you guys, what should the Texans do with Bradley Roby? Type K for keep him, type C for cut him. Get your votes in down in the comments, K for keep, or you can type your C for cut. To be blunt, and hey, you guys can disagree with me down in the comments, that's the beauty of this show, is I don't believe the Texans are going to be contenders this year. I don't think they're going to win. Why? I don't think we're going to have a clear answer on Deshaun Watson's future before week 1. And remember this, legal issues aside, Watson wants out of Houston. So even if he is not placed on the NFL's commissioner exempt list, is he going to show up and play for the Texans this year? I don't know. I guess he might, but there's no chatter that is going to happen. So cutting a guy like Roby and saving that money for a team that may not win this year could make some sense. You look at the cornerback room for the Houston Texans. You've got Hargraves, who's a good player. I like Desmond King. I thought that was a good pickup. Terrence Mitchell, Thomas, maybe you get those guys some extra opportunities if you end up cutting/trading, but probably cutting since he has a suspension for Bradley Roby. You obviously don't have a lot of depth behind him there, but again, $9 million could be valuable for the Texans' future for 2022 free agency and beyond. I think that's something you have to consider, and for a guy who's going to be 30 years old at some point this season, it could make sense for Bradley Roby, really for both sides, A, to cut him, and for B, for him to find a different home before this season. So we'll see what happens. I definitely think he's a cut candidate, but maybe you think there's someone else that makes more sense for the Houston Texans, so name one for me. Name a surprise cut candidate for the Texans down in the comments. I think Roby makes a lot of sense, but if you think it's someone else, let me know, and we'll see you next time here on Texans Today.